Hello, welcome back to Beyond the Veil background information. We're doing an Angels and Demons profile, and this one it's one of the more complicated ones because we're still in the realm of sins, but we're discussing the sin of wrath, which is often described as Satan. Now I'll go into it in a minute, but as always with these, I give you a brief quote from one of the stories where the character's mentioned or the thing. Then I will give you my background information, like all the things that are relevant to what I was using for this. Then I'll give you my character profile for how they appear in my universe. It's all the Beyond the Veil universe that I write for my Bible Turn and other stories. And so we're discussing someone called Satanael or Sataniel, or more commonly called Satan. So let's get into this. So, my duty is to tempt and test mankind, but what would be the point if Baal keeps mankind utterly corrupted? This is different to the Grigori, brother. If I ask for your help and not the master, would you help? A quote from Ambitious Aim. So, Satan, the devil, Lucifer, Iblis, and well, just about every devil and evildoer you can think of stems from the figures of Lucifer, the devil, and Satan. Now, I use Lucifer, the fallen angel, as the big bad devil Satan character in the Veil universe. So you'll have to wait till that one to hear me discuss the bad guy we generally assume. With Satan, though, you'll note I've used the name Satanael and refer to Satan referred to Satan as this. So let's get into this. To start, let's deal with the very basics in the name. Satanael means adversary or accuser of God, and Satan means adversary or accuser. They are an angel grouping subservient to God in Jewish law and sent to test the virtue of man. The most classic telling of a Satan is the Book of Job, wherein a Satan is tasked with testing Job's faith by doing anything but kill him. That is the only thing God forbids. The Satan had implored Yahweh to let him torture Job and see how long his faith in Yahweh would stand, and so he destroys Job's servants and flocks and family. When this doesn't work, the Satan he's actually pointed out as the Satan amongst the sons of Yahweh present, and in that sense the accuser, insists that he needs to test him more. When Job remains faithful even after some intense losses, the Satan is shamed for his actions, and the proof of faith in Yahweh means that Job is rewarded. Now, the Satan is not the bogeyman. In Kabbalah, he is presented as the servant that will tempt man to later accuse them in the heavenly courts. He features in the book of Zechariah in a vision. Satan is acting as a prosecutor and gets told off for not letting the human on trial be presented at their best. In general, though, Satan is like Mammon, terminology used for something sent to test faith and never thought of as a particularly nasty individual out to attack for the sake of revenge against God. Indeed, the term get behind me Satan is from the New Testament and talking about the bogeyman version of Satan, although some try to link it and sometimes some conflate it with the story of Balaam, who is confronted by an angel of God, sometimes referred to as a Satan, who is sent by God to kill him, but for his donkey seeing the angel and steering him away. Balaam is told he would have been killed by the messenger, but the donkey turning, and some people, but for the donkey turning, and some people seem to mix this story up with discussing Satan in regard to Judaism with the New Testament devil. Sometimes Satan is mixed with Samael and presented or interpreted as an angel of death, but in truth there is no one individual Satan, and instead a series of accusers and servants of God sent to test and accuse humanity. Although, of course, more modern aspects of Judaism and understandings on the subject of the devil do vary, but I'm afraid I'm sticking with just the parts that inspired my creation, or my development. So, Satanael comes from a need to link Satan back to an angelic form, suggesting it as the angelic name of the figure. It appears initially that this was something the Cathars held up, the Ale or L removed by Michael from the name to signify his loss of angelic ability. But it is mentioned in the second book of Enoch as a name of a member of the Grigori, probably another translation of Semyaza, also known as Azazel, which is how these figures get mixed in with one another. Now, this second book is a piece that's falsely connected to Enoch, and it described Satanael as the leader of the Gregory that was cast from heaven, and so is identifying aspects that were not really discussed until Revelations. But basically, the Titan of Satanael, is made up during the time when the Lucifer, Satan, and Devil are, as the Devil, are built up in the Middle Ages to become the ultimate bad guy. Now, in popular culture, we're talking about Satan, the bogeyman, and Lucifer, so that will be discussed there. But as for Satania, or indeed Satan, I propose an interpretation that might intrigue. Now, in the first episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, humanity is put on trial by the seemingly omnipotent figure called Q, and he features through the various Star Trek canon and troubles them as part of the Q continuum, and we meet another Q at one point and learn of a child of members of the continuum that shouldn't live, and we even get that weird bit later where he has the child of Janeway. But if we consider Q as the equivalent to a Satan, you can see that the Satan is sometimes something necessary, terrible, and well, I'm a fan of Q, and this actually kind of explained why I enjoy them and why someone like Cisco is far more effective in dealing with him. Basically, you have someone who is accusing you, putting you on trial, pushing pushing you to point out the worst of you and humanity, and yet your job is to prove that humanity isn't that bad. And that's kind of what the Satan does, like Picard's faith in humans as having and their universe as having better, more positive aspects to it is no different to Job's constant faith that Yahweh will steer him right. So, bit of a long shot there, but just to prove I'm a nerd. Now, in my favourite works about Satan that I have used for my Lucifer include, of course, Paradise Lost and Old Harry's Game. Blame that for all my interest in this. Listening to it young and laughing about dolphins being intelligent enough to be considered responsible for their actions, and how does a tapeworm play a hammered organ? I'm clearly warped. But I will discuss that only in the brief bit that apply to my stories with this figure in another video. But this is all there is to Satanael as an individual angel demon. I use Satanael where Satan is used in separation from Lucifer, and when discussing the sins as we have done, Lucifer is considered the sin of pride and Satan the sin of wrath. So for being hateful against God, they hold the title of the sin of wrath. However, I have made a Satanael the sin of wrath, and well, this is my version of them. Okay, so name Satanael. Position, head of the Satan and Sin of Wrath. Story featured in Ambitious Aim. Role, tester of faith. Gender, agender, although often viewed as male. Description, a dark fiery being, often black as coal, with eyes of fire that travels through the sky like a comet to those that they are to test. They are most often seen, however, as a cloud of darkness or a heavy feeling about oneself, and their voice is always one that is felt more than heard. In heaven, however, their eyes are a brilliant blue, their hair is a fiery red, and their form beautiful, with wings as bright as the morning star they mimic, a shadow of what Lucifer should have stayed. Realm, heaven, abilities, they alone have the ability to inflict pain and harm upon the living to test their faith, and most often wields bad luck and misfortune at the most inopportune times. Master, the Almighty, personality, sarcastic and perhaps a little cheeky, Satanael has a spiteful nature towards man that has been moulded to work and developed to the Almighty's favour. They are faithful to their master and understand that there are limits to power and wants, and from testing man have grown to love and loathe the creations. They are, however, one of the few angels permitted to travel to earth and hell and heaven without any injury, and they are fond of their brother Lucifer. Relations. Lucifer, their brother Satanael, was created from Lucifer's essence by the Almighty. At the same time, they were developing man, and Satanael was only ever allowed to interact with Lucifer and Michael until events happened as they should, and man were able to have faith and comprehend right from wrong. Satanael and Lucifer love each other and for Lucifer's sake, Satanael permitted himself to be confused with his brother to take some of the abuse away. Right, history. When the Almighty had man in their mind, they knew that to create something that would grow to become aware of right and wrong and faith and love, it would be important to have a servant that could aid in the development of these things by showing them what is unpleasant and testing them. A heart cannot grow if it does not know its enemies, and thus the Almighty turned to their favourite angel Lucifer, and from Lucifer's own being pulled out another angel, Satanael, to be the adversary and accuser for their future. Satanael was able to greet their brother Lucifer and truly It was truly joyous in their company. They enjoyed Michael too, and when with them could read so much of their future and was fearful of it. When Satanael asked the Almighty why he could not step amongst the other angels, he was told that for having seen the future he must let it be, because only then will he understand his duties more clearly. Satanael was unable to join battle, unable to choose, and would later wonder if they were created from all that had been keeping Lucifer loyal. They were not permitted to visit Lucifer or even to walk amongst man until after the flood, when the Almighty's wrath had truly been shown, and the time Lucifer was given to repent was up. Upon their arrival to hell, Sataniel sees the kingdom and cannot help but be pleased that so much influence from heaven has come to them here all the same. They know and learn about spite and about hate and about revenge as they listen to Lucifer. They learn all the ways to test faith and how to accuse, and they are able to see too the future of humans and their deeds. Sataniel then questions why Lucifer did not repent, and upon learning it was kept from them, and seeing there had been a potential within Lucifer to repent, Sataniel understood their duty better. They returned and were able to give information so that Gabriel was banished for a brief time, and with it Sataniel had made a suggestion with the Almighty. They were of Lucifer and would do tasks inspired by Lucifer's actions and would test the faith just as much as Lucifer would draw the already wicked into their doom. Sataniel would have their name remembered by all upon the earth as the name of the great foe. Satan would be the name of both Sataniel and Lucifer, and so that would make the faithful more faithful, would be that would make the faith more faithful, and would be the actions of the devil never assume the judgment of the Almighty, and the Almighty accepts this. Sataniel and the Satans they create and teach to judge then go amongst man. It is for their actions and their testing that phrases such as God wouldn't make a burden you can't carry, or the like, are spread amongst humans. Sataniel and his beings always fail in their actions because Lucifer nearly always wins, and thus there is a balance that the Almighty wishes for. Final comments. So originally I was wondering why Satan the bad guy doesn't really exist until Christianity, and even then that it's conflated and mixed about with so many other ideas and words as you go through the Middle Ages. So when I was pondering upon the idea that there was Satan, the obedient angel, and Satan the bad angel, I just separated them and used the other name Lucifer. That is much more preferred. But when I ended up learning more about demonology through accident with my love of monsters and myth, and always finding a demon and angel section, I ended up pondering about Q from Star Trek and then thinking, well, isn't that almost the same? And ended up liking my thought more. So I hope you found that interesting. Thank you.